Now is the moment where we introduce an amazing man. He has inspired thousands of people all around the world. He is our guest speaker for this convention. Put your hands together for the amazing, stunning, and inspiring Marc Elliot!
Thank you. Hello, Zumba. Hello. Now, Zumba is incredible. And on a serious note, in lieu of the events of Orlando, I'm incredibly privileged and honored to be able to come here in the community and share my story of living with Tourette syndrome for 20 years. I hope in the very short amount of time that I have with you, that you walk away with a deeper understanding of tolerance and compassion. Because the reality is, there's a lot of hate in the world right now. And if you agree, say, I know. But the thing is, a lot of that hate starts just with ourselves. So I want you to take just a moment, and I want you to think about somebody in your life right now that you really don't like. I want you to think about somebody that really gets on your nerves, or they really annoy you, or maybe you even feel some hate. I'm gonna give you 5 more seconds to think about that person. You're like, it takes me a nanosecond. So everyone have that? Okay, I want you just to put it in the back of your mind, and we're gonna get to them a little bit later. Now, I wanna tell you about my life with Tourette's, but instead of telling you, I wanna show you. If you're cool with that, say yeah. Now, I'm gonna show you a video, but I wanna let you know, when I lived with Tourette's, I said a lot of very offensive and inappropriate things, and I just wanna say right now, I'm sorry in advance if I offend anyone. Let's go to video.
Penis, fuck. I have Tourette's, by the way, just want to throw that out there, okay?
Can you find a way to...
Stupid people. No, I understand. Can I control it? It's called Tourette syndrome. Yeah, it's a medical disorder. It's involuntary.
I won't take. Yes, it is true, I have the world's strongest jaw. But it is true, as it was said in the introduction, I actually overcame my Tourette's. With the help of some revolutionary technology and some amazing people, thank you. Thank you. I was able to beat it, but that's not even why I'm here today. I mean, as you can imagine, living with Tourette syndrome for 20 years, I really had the chance to see what is it like to be so different than everyone else. I mean, this was crazy, right? I mean, if you thought I was crazy in that video, say, yeah, he's crazy. You're like, is that okay we said that? It's crazy. And it started when I was really young. It started with blinking of my eyes, and I would do little sniffing things. And I just had these uncomfortable feelings in my body, and that's how I learned how to get rid of them. And as I got older, it got a little bit more complex. And so sometimes I would do things with my body. I would even do this humping tic like this, like it looked like I was doing this weird thing. I should have just told people I was doing a Zumba move. And as I got older, I started to say more vocal things. I started head shaking. Sometimes even when I was kissing a girl, I would tic other girls' names. Do not try this at home. And one time when I was kissing a girl, I ended up ticking her mom's name. Yes, believe me though, believe me. If you saw her mom, you would have ticked it too. Oh, good times. But of course, as I got older, I started to say really offensive things. I had an older brother who was gay. I would say offensive words for gay people. I had black friends. It was difficult. And as you can imagine, I experienced a lot of types of intolerance. I was kicked out of movie theaters. I was kicked off of a bus. Sometimes people threatened me. I was mocked. I was made fun of. I was looked at. All sorts of different things. And here's what was happening on the most basic level, okay? What would happen is that people would see me. They would see me just like you saw me in the video. And based on what they saw that I was doing physically, based on my actions, based on my ticking, they would make judgments about myself. They would make judgments about what they saw, and then based on that, they would extend that judgment to me, who I was as a person, Marc Elliot. They thought I was weird, they thought I was crazy, they thought I was annoying, whatever they thought. If that makes sense, say yeah. So without knowing an ounce about who I was as a person, they were making judgments about my actions, and they thought that that's who I was as a person. So I took it upon myself. To educate people about tolerance and the nature of differences. And I went on a mission around the world. And I used my story of living with Tourette syndrome to convey this idea of just how little we know about each other's lives. And I think my story really showed people that, look, you can make judgments about people, you can think whatever you want, but at the end of the day, you really don't know anything about that person. And so after 45 states and it speaking internationally and with social media and YouTube, my message reached about 1 million people. If you think that's cool, say yeah. And it was incredible, and life was amazing. I was on a mission to change the world. But in 2010, everything changed. And I met an American scientist and philosopher. His name is Keith Raniere. And he actually created the courses, the classes, called Executive Success Programs, that actually provided the tools that helped me beat my Tourette's. And he became... I agree. And he became a friend of mine, a dear friend, and he became a mentor. And he actually helped me see how my message on tolerance was a bit incomplete. It was a bit short. And here's what he had to share with me. All of us have this amazing body. We live in this body, right? We have this incredible vehicle to experience life and Zumba. And the thing is, all of us have different kinds of bodies. Who here has a body that tics?
Yeah, baby.
He's got Tourette's. Some bodies tic, some people are female, some people are tall, some people are really skinny, some people have freckles, some people like Coke, some people like Pepsi. That's controversial, I know. But the thing is that we all are different in many ways. We believe in different things, we feel differently about things, and we look differently. And compassion, which goes so far beyond tolerance, is understanding that none of that matters. None of that matters. That whether you are tall or you are short or whatever gender you are or whether you tic or you like Coke or Pepsi, is that just because you are different, that doesn't mean you are not human. It doesn't. Right? Like I want you all to imagine your best friend right now. Imagine, you know when you're with your best friend and it's just awesome and you're talking, you know that feeling? If you know that feeling, say yeah. Okay, I want you to imagine you're talking with your friend right now, okay? And you're right there, and you got that feeling. Now imagine if, for some strange reason, in that moment, your best friend gained 200 pounds. Like a witch. Just like that. But on a serious note, if they gain that weight, is your friend, your best friend, any different just because their body changed? Or if your best friend, this person that you have this amazing connection with, changed political parties, or they changed religions, or they went to another country, or they played Pokemon Go, whatever it is, does that make them any less of a person or your friend? No. So compassion is this idea that we're all on this voyage together. That regardless if you're intelligent or not intelligent, you're a happy person or an angry person, athletic or not, an amazing Zumba instructor, not a great instructor, whether you tic, whether you like Coke or you like Pepsi, is that beyond all of those things, there's a person. I want you all to imagine that tomorrow you woke up and you found out that you were in a terrible car accident. And you were burned beyond recognition. And people couldn't tell if you were male or you were female or if you were white or black or any of those things. And despite how horrible that might be, you are still beyond that. The you is still there, that you, that core human that is neither white nor black nor male or female or any of those things. And while living with Tourette's, I had an experience which I didn't understand how it related, but now I see it was exactly what my mentor has been trying to show me. Now this happened about 6 years ago, and I was living in New York City at the time, and I still had full-blown Tourette's. And I was walking down in the subway in Manhattan, and I'm on the platform, and my headphones are in, and I'm dancing. Who here dances with your headphones in? Say yeah. So, I'm on the platform and I'm barking and doing my thing. And as I'm, ticking and dancing, after about a minute or so, I noticed that there was another gentleman nearby me. And oftentimes I would tell people about my Tourette's. So I looked over him and I said, "Hey, sir, I just want to let you know, my name is Mark, I have Tourette's. I'm not trying to bother you." And he looked over at me and he goes, "No worries." And then he went back to what he was doing. And because of the way that he responded to me, for some reason, I was just so inclined to go and ask him this question. And I've never have done this before in my life. So I walk up to the guy and I said, "Hey, sir, I know this might be weird, but I've got a question for you. What were you thinking about me? What were you thinking before I told you I had Tourette's?" And he looked at me and he said, "I just thought you were having a really good time." And I said, "Oh, okay. What about when I started to chomp my teeth?" He goes, "Oh yeah, that was weird." And the conversation continued. I found out his name was Jay. And I said, "Jay, why are you like this? How did you become like this?" And he said, "Mark, it's really funny that you asked." And he said when he was younger, he was on a city bus in New York City. And he was in the back of the bus. And in the front of this bus, there was the screaming, annoying kid. If you know the screaming, annoying kid, say yeah. And he said, "Mark, this kid was out of control. Out of control." And what made matters even worse, it looked like that he was sitting next to his dad, who was doing nothing about it. And so Jay told me he's sitting on the back of this bus, and he's just thinking, God, why can't this kid just shut up? And he said, while he was thinking this, another stranger got up in the back of the bus and walked up to this kid and to this dad. And the stranger said to the dad, will you please control your kid? And Jay said the dad looked to the stranger and said, his mother just died. We came from her funeral. In the beginning, I asked you to think about somebody that you really don't like right now. I asked you to think about somebody that really annoys you, or maybe even somebody that you hate. And have you ever just thought about what's going on for that person? Have you ever just thought about what is that person struggling with? Because whether you don't like what they believe, whether you don't like how they behave, or whether you don't even like the way that they look, what we do is that we judge that person based on those things, and then we extend it to who they are as a person without knowing an ounce of who they are. Just like that little kid on the bus. So beyond all of those things, what we forget when we do that, we forget the most fundamental, the most simple thing. That beyond what we find annoying about people, or beyond what we hate about other people, whether it is your mom, your son, someone in your Zumba class, the mailman, someone from another country, someone from another religion, somebody who scares you, someone who even hurts you, is that underneath all of that is that there is a person. A person with a mom, and a person maybe with a family, and a person with fears and concerns and dreams, a person just like you and me. Have any of you ever been on a sports team before? Or have any of you ever been on a team or a club, or maybe even like the Zumba convention? Have you ever been on one of those, just like a tight-knit team? If so, say yeah. And you know when you're on that team, that feeling, that amazing feeling you get when you feel really bonded with them? You know that feeling? But also on that team, there's also that one person. You all know that person. That one person that you really don't like. If you know what I'm talking about, say yeah. But the thing is, no matter how much you don't like that person, no matter how much you despise that person, you stand up for that person. You stand up for them. You transcend your differences and you protect that person because you recognize that they're one of you. You recognize that you're on the same team. And when you look around the world right now, there's some really bad things that are happening. And we have different parties, and we have different rivalries, and we have different factions. But the question is, when are we going to stand up for the human team? When are we going to recognize that we are all in this together no matter what side you're on? And that is the nature of compassion, when you can see you in everyone else. And thanks to my mentor, I understand that on a level that I never knew before. And I spend my life now working with him and his company as an amazing group of people to try to educate the world to do that. We must come to understand that I'm Marc Elliot. I'm not my tics. I'm beyond that. That I'm Marc Elliot. I'm not white. I'm beyond that. We are beyond our behaviors. We are beyond what we look like. We are beyond the things that make us angry. And it is imperative, Zumba, that if we want to live in a world where we all get along, if we want to live in a world where love trumps fear, if we want to do that, then we must get beyond these differences of our body and come to see that what is underneath it all is that we are all human. Thank you so much, Zumba. Thank you.